There are a ton of different viable Katarina builds in Season 11, so today we're going to be looking at 4 of the most popular builds, testing the damage output of each and breaking down which is the best. The first build we're going to look at is the AD setup of Bork into Kraken Slayer and then Ravenous Hydra. The second being Lichbane into Riftmaker and Nashers, which is a really popular one in Korea. We'll look at a hybrid setup of Bork into Lichbane and Riftmaker, and then a build you see a lot more in the western regions of Night Harvester, Lichbane, and Nashers. Now, for those of you who haven't been following preseason, you might be wondering, well, why can Katarina go for these AD setups now? How does this work on her? Well, back in 10.23, she got a couple of buffs. Her passive now applies on hit effects to all units struck. Her E also applies on hit effects, and her ultimate, each dagger, is now going to apply on hit effects at 25% effectiveness. She also got a change to her ultimate to where the damage scales with attack speed, so that means the on hit effects from Bork and Kraken Slayer and also the attack speed those items provide you works a lot better now with Katarina's kit, and it makes it so that going for those items is so much more viable. So we're going to start off by testing the one item spike to these build paths. So we're going to test Blade of the Ruined King against Lichbane and then Night Harvester and see which one is the best. Now, the combos we'll be using to test the damage output, the first one is going to be an extended trade without your ultimate, and the second one is just going to be a full burst combo with your ultimate added in. So for the Blade of the Ruined King test, the first combo dealt 1,230 damage and the second one 1,492. For Lichbane, a lot less damage there with the first combo at 782 damage, and then it did deal more with a full burst combo with your ultimate with 1,555 damage. And then for Night Harvester, it dealt about the same damage as Lichbane with the first combo at 791, and then it dealt the least damage with a full burst combo at 1,352. So Bork is your rush item. You really can't go wrong with that. The stats don't lie here. It deals the most damage if you're able to weave in auto attacks into your trade, a lot more damage than Lichbane and Night Harvester. Even a full burst combo deals a little bit less than Lichbane. So the Lichbane as the rush there, that's the more popular one over in Korea. Like I said before, Koreans are really liking this right now, and it does deal a little bit more burst. So if you're looking for like an AP build, full AP build on Katarina, and you want to build a burst very hard at a one item spike, then grabbing the Lichbane first is really strong as well. And then Night Harvester, even though it does deal a little bit less single target damage, especially with like a full burst combo, you have to keep in mind that you have the passive proc from Night Harvester. So throughout a skirmish, if you're able to proc that on multiple targets, your overall damage output in a fight would be very similar to Bork or very similar to Lichbane. So all 3 of these items are completely viable as a rush right now on Katarina, but Bork does tend to be a little bit more optimal. Now if we move on to comparing the 2 item spikes of the different build paths, first here with Bork and Kraken Slayer, 1,757 damage with the first combo, 2,850 with the second. Moving on to the Lichbane and Riftmaker build, 1,287 damage with the first combo, 2,265, so a lot less than Bork and Kraken Slayer. The third build path there of Night Harvester into Lichbane, 1,243, and then 2,321, so pretty similar to the Lichbane and Riftmaker damage output. And then for Bork into Lichbane, 1,476 damage with the first combo, and then 2,129 with the second. So guys, at the 2 item spike, Bork and Kraken Slayer pretty much just blows everything else out of the water damage wise here. It's overall the highest DPS output build pretty much by a long shot. It also allows for you to deal a lot more consistent damage because your autos will be dealing a lot more from the AD you get from Bork and from Kraken Slayer, and then you also have some nice sustain there with Blade of the Ruined King. So this is a great build right now on Katarina, and you really can't go wrong with it. And then for Lichbane into Riftmaker there, the Korean setup, even though you are losing out damage wise, there's a lot of other really good stats these items provide you that isn't only damage. You're getting 10% move speed from Lichbane, you're getting the Omni Vamp from Riftmaker, you're also getting the true damage over time from Riftmaker that didn't factor into the damage really, because once we proc their true damage on the dummies, the combos were over. So you have to keep that in mind. This build is definitely stronger than it may look, because you can't just judge it only based on damage. For the Night Harvester and Lich Bane, if you are looking to go for an AP route and you want to burst the hardest, this is the one you want to be looking to go for. It's going to allow you to deal a lot of consistent damage throughout a fight as well because of the Night Harvester and the Lich Bane proc, so this is another great spike on Katarina. And then for Bork into Lich Bane, this one is kind of the outlier. It doesn't really perform super well in any area. It doesn't burst really well. It doesn't have like the most consistent damage, so it's a build that you can definitely look to try out and you can look to go for, but just compared to the other ones, it does tend to be a little less optimal. Alright, and then if we test the big 3 item spikes now, Bork, Kraken Slayer, and Ravenous Hydra, 2,264 damage with your first combo, 3,794 damage with the second, Lich Bane into Riftmaker and then Nashers, 2,200 damage first combo, 3,518 damage with the second, and then for Night Harvester into Lich Bane and then Nashers, 2,196 damage there, first combo, 3,737 damage for the second combo, and then for the Bork into Lich Bane and Riftmaker, 1,738 damage with the first combo, so quite a bit lower, and then for the second combo, 2,949 damage, once again a lot lower than the other setups. Alright guys, so 3 item spike here to conclude the Bork into Kraken Slayer and Ravenous Hydra. Damage wise, gonna beat out everything still. Even at 3 items, still the highest damage build overall, and you're also getting so much great sustain out of this setup too. You're getting the Omni Vamp there from Ravenous Hydra, you're getting the Lifesteal from Blade the Ruined King, so your ability to side lane with this build is great, your ability to team fight with this build is great. Pretty much everything you'd want in a build for Katarina is in this item path right here. Now for the Lich Bane into Riftmaker and Nashers, you really can't go wrong with this one either. It is one of the more consistent AP builds right now. It does have a very high win rate. The damage is slightly lower compared to the AD build, but you are getting some nice sustain there from the Riftmaker. You're also getting some really good split threat from the Lich Bane and the Nashers proc, so if you want to play an AP build, this is definitely one of the better ones you can choose from. For the Night Harvester, Lich Bane, and Nashers build, if you just want to burst with an AP setup, go for this one right here. You can even swap the order in which you go for this build around. Nashers as a rush is actually really good as well on Katarina at the moment. You can do like Lich Bane rush, but just generally going for these 3 items at some point, no matter what order you go, will allow you to burst extremely hard at 3 items there. You are lacking any sort of sustain though from this build, so compared to like Riftmaker, compared to the AD setup, when you're team fighting or when you're side laning, the lack of sustain might feel a little bit bad for you, so you can test this one out compared to the other ones and see if you do like it better, because it does burst extremely hard. And then for Bork, Lich Bane, and Riftmaker, this one right here damage-wise does get outclassed by every single other build. So the first combo there, a little bit less damage, and the second combo, a lot less damage there compared to the other builds. This is still very popular though over in Korea. They're really liking this setup, but overall, it does actually have the lowest win rate for any Katarina build right now. And just after testing, you know, the damage output here, you can kind of see as to why that is. Alright, so overall guys, to conclude, if you're just looking for one really strong build to run on your Katarina for preseason, try out the AD setup of Bork, Kraken Slayer, and Ravenous Hydra. That works great for her at the moment, but you can experiment with the other builds as well. They're still very, very strong on the champion. So Lich Bane, Riftmaker, and Nashers, the Korean setup there, you can try that out. It works very well. If you're looking to burst extremely hard with an AP setup, do the Night Harvester, Lich Bane, and then Nashers, and you can even try out the Bork, Lich Bane, and Riftmaker. That one is the least optimal out of the 4 that we tested in this video here, but nonetheless, it's still viable on the champion. So with that being said, if you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to drop a like, subscribe if you have yet to already. So thanks for watching, have an awesome day, and I'll see you in my next video.